We all know when Oranto was here, all the hullabaloo and noise behind Oranto the last time. So when it came out that they have a production sharing agreement, I had to go back to research. Global Witness did a research on it, came to the same conclusion. ProPublica did a research on it, came to the same conclusion. From British Africa came to the same conclusion. So we quoted these sources. We made our conclusion based on research, not just on our opinion. Now, the basic thing as a lawyer, and then I took the agreement to try to look at it just from a legal standpoint. This is the area of law that I practice: corporate law, corporate agreements, and those kind of things, government agreements. The first thing I had to look at is Oranto does not have the capacity to do deep water exploration or production. It simply does not. Okay? So if you're getting into a contract with someone who doesn't have the ability to perform that contract, then you have to question the purpose of the contract. And that's the first thing I did. Say, okay, why would we be doing a contract with Oranto? They don't have the capacity. The people with the capacity are Total, ExxonMobil, Chevron, and other companies I named. Oranto is not one of them. So why Oranto is my question. That's some of the questions I'm posing. And then as I delve into the deal, then it raises more questions that there is something maybe behind this deal that is not being explained, and it must be explained. The other thing I looked at as a lawyer is there's poor drafting, because when you drafting a contract, you got to draft it consistent with law. There are several provisions here that are not consistent with the law, and they could be fixed, because the agreement, in my mind, should go back to the president. The president should instruct his team of negotiators and lawyers to look at those areas of concern and see. But the reason why I think this contract is irredeemable is simply because Oranto does not have the capacity. Okay? If you want to give it to Oranto for another reason, then let's take the reason in there. Okay, let's say it. We're going to give it. I mean, somebody called me and said, oh, you know, that's regional allocation. And so, you know, Nigeria did very well for Liberia. I agree. Let's say that. Let's say to Nigeria, you know, because you did so well for us during our civil crisis, you brought boots on the ground, so many lives were lost here. We want to give you 4 oil blocks, Nigeria, right? Then we give it to them. If they give it to Oranto, that's it. I would be in favor of that arrangement. But to do a production sharing agreement with a contractor who does not have that capacity raises concern.
If you wanted to talk about some of the reasons why you think the agreement is inconsistent with existing laws on the ground, what are some of the examples you would share?
Well, let me just look at something. Let me just look at some provisions here. I'll just give you a few, maybe 1 or 2. Okay. The first thing is, and someone said Oranto's signature bonus is $12 million. That is completely untrue. Okay? In section 16.3
of the proposed agreement.
Mm-hmm. It says signature and production bonus. A for signature bonus is $1.25 million in A. $1.25 million for
signature bonus.
For signature
and
bonus.
not 12.
It's not 12 million. It's right here. I will leave it with. I will give you a copy to read. The other things that are there.
Councilor, you want to put the mark so every time you talk, it should be.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So every time every time you look at, when you look at the rest of the monies that will be paid, are what they call production bonus. You're not going to pay it unless you do a phase, right? The important thing that is not listed here is, imagine Oranto is getting 4 oil blocks. They have not paid for 1 data. You're going to buy land and you do no survey. Can you imagine that? You're going to buy land, but you do no survey. We know that Total paid $3.5 million for their survey. Oranto did not pay. Now, what is inconsistent with the law says all monies received except for data payment should go into the consolidated fund. The agreement says $400,000 will go to LPRA and then $850,000 to consolidated fund. That is inconsistent with law. Then it comes back, okay? In the same clause 16, It said the bonus due under Clause A of this section shall be recoverable as petroleum costs. You know what I mean? It means that the money you pay when you flip or you start producing, you can take it back. If you owe us $100,
In this case, the company.
yes, in this the $1.25 million that Oranto gonna pay upfront, okay, whenever they flip or they start production and they owe Liberia, let's assume $10 million, they get to deduct that $1.25 million.
They flip, meaning what?
If they sold to somebody else, because they don't have the capacity. Oranto will have no choice but to go sell it to ExxonMobil or one of the big companies.
Is that agreement before you now?
Which agreement?
That one, the proposed agreement. Is it before you, meaning the legislature?
Yes, I got it from my office.
Is that why you're arguing now? Is it on the floor? Are you debating it?
No, we're not debating. It went to committee, and I have informed the committee, and then I gradually, as I read, I inform the public as to what I'm seeing in the agreement.
Then there is another portion. You say, under 16.3 of the Oranto Production Sharing Agreement, every cent Oranto spent to acquire the block will be that the one you just talked about.
Yes.
Will be reimbursed to him.
Yes.
When it flips to him, in this case, to the very Oranto.
To the very Oranto.
He will
So you make an investment. Every investor, right? When you come to make an investment somewhere, you got to feel it in your pocket. Okay, investment is risk, right? But if I come to you, look, this Oranto agreement, I think Liberia should give it to me. I'm a Liberian. I'm entitled, to our resources. I can raise $1.2 million or $3 million or $5 million, and I get it back when I flip it and make $200 million. Any Liberian can do this. Okay, we don't need Oranto to do it under the arrangement that they have given, because all the money you spend up front, you get it back.
Okay, so I just wanted to raise your issues before I start to ask you questions. Then you go on to say, according to the 2019 Petroleum Law, Section 36A, Liberians are entitled to receive 5% of each block, while NOCAL will receive 10%. The Oranto Agreement says NOCAL will get the 15%, and Liberians should leave their own with God. And if in 180 days after they found oil, and NOCAL does not speak for us, Oranto gets the 15% free. Section 17.1 AR. Either this is a weakness in negotiation or a form of wickedness. Well, if this is what you say is true, is this in our provision? Why somebody want to change it? 5% for Liberian, 10% to NOCAL, and they say the entire 15 should go to NOCAL.
Okay, so the way the agreement is structured, you have 100%. That's the block, right? 85% goes to the contractor.
The company.
10% goes to NOCAL. 5% citizen participation. All right.
Citizen participation in the context of our owning share.
Yes.
Okay.
Whatever way the citizens will participate,
But 5%.
that have been identified will be 5%. Then the agreement says NOCAL will hold that 5% for Liberians. Okay, the citizen participation, NOCAL will hold that 5%. So that's 10 plus 5, that's 15 NOCAL holding. It will lapse if after the found oil in 180 days, NOCAL does not exercise the right to claim that percentage. What is bad about this is then it goes down at the end of the day, right? Even though we have this citizen participation, Section 35 says, apart from the state, the authority, and the contractor, no person shall have rights under this contract. NOCAL don't have rights. Citizens don't have rights. If it's about to lapse and citizens as beneficiary cannot file a lawsuit or cannot impose their rights on it, then what is it? It's nothing. So it's an empty gesture. It's a provision that needs to be reviewed and examined.
Now, even though a former speaker, but as a member of parliament, very influential, how do you intend to do this thing? Isn't committee rules going to come for debate? I mean, in the midst of all your reading, you're going to debate this thing. You should be forming a strong team now to oppose in the event it comes.
Oh, of course. Everything we send to our Facebook page, plus more. We are informing our colleagues and we're having our internal discussions. I think, on Thursday we're gonna put a more detailed which will have some tech. I don't put the technical flaws on the Facebook page because it will be difficult for the citizens to be able to follow, because they don't have the benefit of technical advisors like I do who are familiar with the oil sector. So that would be my detailed letter to the House when I recommend on Thursday that we send it back.
How do you determine capacity here? As I keep hearing you saying Oranto does not have the capacity. How do you determine capacity?
Their track record and what they are doing. We went to the industry and said, look, who are the companies that have been doing or have the capacity to do deep water drilling? Ours is ultra deep. Which companies can do this? And Oranto, not one of them. We asked specifically about Oranto, and they told us Oranto's capacity. That's why we have said that they do not have the capacity, because the industry says they don't.